Hi guys, welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. I've just come back from work and I thought to myself, right, I've got to get into some content in a moment. I'm just going to test out some stuff in Act 6 and go a bit further than I did last night with such limited time. But hey ho, let's try and see if we can push a video out talking about what my thoughts are on Act 6. As expected, the champion requirements thing is a little bit annoying, especially when you consider that you'd like certain types available for certain content. At this point, you're probably going, yeah, you've got plenty of choices, Rich, you'll be absolutely fine. Well, the problem is having two brilliant biohazard champions in my map 6 grind isn't exactly helping out matters, and it's one thing that I'm kind of thinking, I think it may be best to kind of hold the brakes on my Act 6.1 grind. Maybe it's a point of going, it's important to get the completion first, and when I do that would probably be within a week's time, considering the fact that, look, I need these guys over here. But biohazard seems to be that little trick, that little stumbling block, that little trip in the pavement that does mean that you're going to have to consider a lot more to get through the content. So yeah, kind of sucks that they're not available for this. So it's all about boxing clever. If you want to reduce down the cost of your grind in it, then it's the right champions for the right situation. But unfortunately, it's all about preparation and champion availability at times, especially if you don't have a stonkingly massive roster. Also, the name of the game seems to be the higher the rank, the better it's going to be for you. Yeah, you better do something with rank 3s, but I just don't really think that's good, especially if you're trying to go, I want to damage output a lot. I don't want to be constantly evading, constantly doing that stuff. Well, obviously that doesn't really matter for 6.1.1, but when you're talking about further progression through, then do you want to spend all your time just constantly evading, intercepting? Is that your bag? If you're good at the game by that means, then of course have at it, but it's all about playing and boxing clever against the amount of damage you want to output against whatever rank your champion is. The question has been asked me about the whole kind of thing with Act 6. Would you feel that these 4 stars would be viable? Yes, from a synergy perspective. No, from being a damage output perspective. At times, I do find it a little bit uncomfortable taking in against difficult bosses or difficult opponents with just having a 4-star in the roster. There are some 4-stars that would be able to withstand it. You know, Captain America Infinity War, aka Beardo. Which then leads me to the next point where people have asked, people have said to me, oh, you know, just like Seaton, use a 5-star or 6-star Beardo. Don't have it. Hyperion, don't have it. Ghost, don't have it. Corvus, don't have it. Iceman, I've got it! And then the list goes on of most of the time saying, unfortunately, I don't have it. But that's no disrespect to my roster. And that's not really saying like, well, why are you coming up with that attitude? The fact is, I do have 5 stars and 6 stars to get the job done. And also with the further development and, you know, attempts to try and at least get into Platinum 3 this time, these champions, and let's face it, there could be about 8 missing at one given time. That could, or more than likely will be, my top champions. So there's a lot of understanding. Do I have a C team that I could largely use for this? Now that's the thing, the content isn't going anywhere, so will I look to rush this? Yes and no. Yes, because I want to get Cavalier as soon as possible, and no, because I'm restricted with my units. As a lot of people may know, I'm not spending on units at the moment, and I'm trying to do it through arena grinding. When this came to a point where I had no units, I made a mistake on Sabretooth as a boss, and so far, so good with that. No Retreat isn't exactly the best thing, 6.1.1. Wasn't a big fan of it, wasn't great, but the fact is I got to the end boss. But I made a mistake, and that mistake cost me. My last champion, which I was like, it's absolutely fine, I'll be fine with this, but I made a mistake. Happens. But if you've got no units, you've got no revives, you've got nothing in your stash, and no battle chips, then you've got to get yourself back into arena if you're a free-to-play player in order to then get yourself through it. So, hey, shit happens, you just have to get on with it. Act 6 does need you to diversify your roster to a degree. I do think that it's always good to have a couple or maybe 3 choices of biohazard champions or immune to biohazard champions. Especially considering that your champions may be in Alliance Wars or Alliance Quest and you need to be put in. And yeah, sometimes you may not have a huge 5-star or 6-star roster in order to get yourself through easy. One thing I've been doing is holding back a few resources in order to just wait until what Act 6 will be like in order to make a decision about who gets to be put up to rank 5. Do I consider a rank 2 6-star? So a lot of those decisions have had to go on the back burner based on what to expect. I'm not like a lot of other MC YouTubers or people that are able to extensively grind out the game, and also put money in. So that's the thing, you have to hold on to what resources matter to then have a look at what the content is like to then build your roster accordingly. And that is exactly what I'm looking to do as of now. The plan as of now is to get into Arena, get a load of units, number one. Number two, have a look at what boosts I've got available. And the third thing is then having a look at set champions that may be good for this and rank them up accordingly. Please do remember with other content, you don't have to rush through this. And there's one thing that I've said is that I'm not going to rush this. I'm going to make sure that my alliance stuff is facilitated first because these are the people that I grind with. And I want to make sure that it doesn't cost me quite so much glory in map 6. Hence the reason I've got some of my top champions in there. And also making sure that alliance wars is facilitated as well because that's important. Also making sure that I do the initiatives and the recon missions because that's one thing that's got to be done as well. And not to mention the fact Uncollected's got to be done. Oh yeah, and I might want to grind out for Hella. So there's a lot of things on at the moment. So it's always good to balance them about, especially if you're busy with stuff with work, with school, with studies. And as well, if you've got other things on, maybe you've got your own business on the side. So yeah, hopefully you can get enough time to do it. But do take your time and make sure that you've kind of like seen things, because that's one positive. You can actually have a look around to see what champions you're facing off against and the buffs, the nodes. So that is one good thing as opposed to like last time. But the thing is, Kabam could do this again with further ones like 6.2, 6.3, or 6.4 could have the same kind of annoyance with that, but still it's good to see and survey the area so you can prepare accordingly. There we have it, guys. That has been a video all about Act 6, my kind of initial thoughts, perspectives, and also looking at the time management side of things, whether or not it's going to be so much more content in game that you're trying to facilitate. And also you don't have to rush if you don't want to, it's completely your choice. And at the same time, maybe I'd like to accumulate some more 5-star champions to kind of see, or maybe another 6-star to see how much more benefit they can be going further from 100%. But I definitely want to do the completion within 1 week, but I need to get some more units. And that's the priority. Without doing any spend, you got to get in Arena. If you want to limit the time, you got to do the grind. Actually, no, it kind of takes more time to grind out. Whatever, I'm sure I'll think of some kind of snappy slogan of any kind. In any case, see you in the live stream later on. Hopefully you're having a great day, whatever you're doing, and hopefully you've had a good day at work, school, or whatever you're up to. In any case, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.